Okay, so 6. What happened last session?
Oh boy. Yesterday we went to the Lavinia Manor, and there we encountered several roadblocks, mostly racism. We met two of Premilia's siblings who went off with Rev 6 and Lirin or Karito for private reasons. Meanwhile, Permilia began to have dinner with Navalia Solastra and her family. Her family tried to hurt her with Oathkeeper but couldn't, and then a big fight broke out, and also she had a brother there. And so we were all fighting at different places in the manor. And then there was a monster in the courtyard. Anyway, Erican was like, since you didn't kill anybody, except that one guard, don't let him know, just get out of here. And so we did.
Does anyone want to add anything to this?
There was a
Life is
big,
pain.
scary, weird thing out in the courtyard that we couldn't figure out.
Oh, yeah, the weird meat wagon.
Summarized by monster. That's fair, though.
Perm and I kicked her brother's ass.
This is also true. I was just going to wait for some kind of joke about Karito. This is fine. Well, you gather your party. You have battled for quite a bit of time. Many of you are exhausted and wounded, but you flee the estate with your entire party. Flee isn't quite the right word, as you did knock out everyone or are being let go by the people who are still conscious. But regardless, you leave in a very big hurry before the possibility of reinforcements could arrive. You exit through the gates, you definitely notice many eyes on you, and there's definitely the sounds of discussion of what is happening, as this is over the course of maybe a minute. There's definitely quick rumors of the sounds of chaos and battle happening within the estate, and it's spreading around that even without you being directly involved, you can sense and get many eyes trained directly on you as you enter Gerallia. What would the party like to do?
Logistical question. Would all of the supplies that we purchased, you kind of indicated that we can carry them with us pretty easily through the desert, but is it implied that we would have had to leave that back at the inn? Do we have to go retrieve it? Or would we have...
Personally, due to the fact that you all decided to go in full armor garb, believe that you brought just everything with you with the intention of leaving afterwards.
Oh, so we have all our things.
Yeah.
Any of you decided to be in a fancy outfit, I'd give an argument for otherwise, but no, you all came for war.
They deserved it.
Do we just leave then?
I think that would be best.
Let's leave.
Let's leave.
So is the intention just to try and leave town as quickly as possible?
Yes.
Yeah, towards the desert,
So towards the west.
which if I recall, is like 3 days away.
Correct.
Are we missing anything? We've got all our gear. Our mount is with VD. Yeah, I think that's everything.
In that case, as you gather everyone together and simply attempt to get out as quickly as possible, the sense of that you are being watched does not wane. Who is leading the charge to escape?
Leo looks like garbage right now, so he is probably just in follow mode.
I look at Rev, like, with wanting permission.
Please.
Okay, I'll take the lead on getting us ready with the instructions. Let's not leave through the west gate. Let's leave through the north gate, and then at night go a different direction. Like, as soon as it starts getting dark, cut back and go a different direction for like an hour or two so we can still get rest, but we might lose their trail. Does that make sense?
Like it.
Let's make them think that we're leaving to the north so they don't give chase, or they give chase in the wrong direction.
Thumbs up. Sounds good.
You immediately start heading towards the north. It sounds like 6 is leading. 6, could you roll me a perception check?
Eh.
Six. As you start heading out of the town as quickly as you physically can, and you definitely, your ears perk every now and then and can hear whispers of something that happened in the manor. It's only been a few minutes, 5, 6, maybe 7, but you can tell that people have started figuring out something's going wrong, and a variety of dummies went in beforehand. Every now and then you see people looking in your direction, but you ignore it and just go, I'm going to get out as quickly as possible. This is fine. 6, what's your armor class?
18.
Oh! Why'd I ask? Six, as you start heading towards the north gate, suddenly a crossbow bolt that you believe was maybe meant to be a warning shot, but instead goes straight into your chest, almost near where your heart is, for 23 piercing damage.
Ouch. She, like, is shunted forward by the force of the blow, making it very obvious she's been struck.
As the bolt strikes her, the rest of the party can start to see that several people have been alerted. Many guards and people in military garbs seem to be coming to apprehend you with very heavy-looking crossbows.
Are they all chasing us from behind?
In this case, it was people who were actually out in the town. This is someone who would be by the north side of the town.
Can 6 still stand?
Yeah. She looks pretty hurt, though. How far away from the gate are we?
This would have been about 120 feet away from it.
Celastra is going to give 6 some healing.
So this came from the gate?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, very good heal.
You rock, thank you.
All right, heal 25 from the 23 you just took.
6 looks like she's thinking as the rest of the party is discussing.
As you're thinking, you can definitely see that you don't have a lot of time of just discussing your plans, as clearly they have heard rumors of something that has happened and intend to stop people who look like you.
I've got the smoke bomb. If we can get closer, like within 50, 30 feet of them, I think we can make a quick exit.
Then perhaps we pretend that we are cooperating.
Do you think they show us mercy? They continue to attack.
Well, are they attacking right now? Are they? I'm guessing they're holding weapons ready, but they're not. You know.
They shot something at 6, literally 6 seconds ago.
Okay, but are they reloading?
Yes.
Okay.
Mind
I
you,
guess we charge.
it's a crossbow. Reloading isn't necessarily a sign of immediately shooting again.
True.
Maybe we could use the smoke bomb as a way if they get too close to us, we could just keep running.
That's what I'm hoping. These crossbowmen that are grouped together, how close together are they?
They are within 10 feet of each other.
Okay, and how many are there? Like 4, 2?
With an 11, you're not sure, but I'll allow Karuto with his natural perception to roll again.
All right, and
Yeah,
I'll ask
they're
out
far
loud.
away.
Like, where... We might be able to blind them. Where are they? How many are there? Karito, can you see?
Karuto,
Mhm.
I'm going to just like assume you all ducked behind an alleyway near a house in order to have this conversation without being harried by bolts and such.
That sounds right.
You peek out and you notice that there's 4, maybe 5. It's hard to tell. Again, it's far away. They're obscured by cover and other bits of stone and the sounds of plenty of other people. And this is when you start to realize not only have you every now and then been hearing rumors of what's going on, you notice that people were constantly getting out of your way. Apparently, just the possibility of trouble made your group far more suspicious. You're not sure if they know you did anything, but they probably just assume that you did.
Hmm. Anyway, character reports back the number of people he can see, and also that his position.
It sounds like I'd be able to blind them if I got throw enough or close enough to make the shot, right, Skern? It's 20 feet across.
If you could get a good throw in there, yes.
Oh, it's actually 40 feet across. Yeah.
Yes. No, it would work perfectly if you could get a good throw.
Fiona, how do these smoke bombs activate?
Okay. I light it, and then it takes several seconds, and then poof.
Character draws an arrow and holds it up.
It might be too heavy.
Scared.
Because you have sharpshooter and you're an expert marksman, I'm willing to say that you're aware that the weight would cause issues, but it would still be physically possible. I will allow the roll with disadvantage.
Ooh. Character seems confident. I can possibly make it.
Let me do something real quick.
Oh.
I'm gonna cast Bless. And I'm gonna give it to Karuto in 6.
Beautiful.
And one other, I think, is if you want.
Who wants an extra Bless? Because I'll just put on Navali if nobody says it.
Hashtag blast.
I'll just put on Navali.
I mean, depending on this roll, it might just turn to initiative, so it matters.
All right, Karito, if we can get closer, like within 70 to 60 feet, then the chances of you hitting are almost guaranteed.
He nods and drops to stealth. And by that I mean, sort of try to make himself look smaller.
Sure.
Does Fiona, sorry, 6 follow suit?
I must, to give you the lit bomb, yeah.
The lip bomb?
The lit bomb.
Oh,
I have to activate it. I have to activate it and then hand it to you.
Character, you must tap. Your lips are so dry.
She puts on some chapstick to get ready for war, and then hands it to Karito. Here, Karito, this will keep your lips smooth and unchapped within the heat of battle.
Character uses it like the stuff they use to prevent UV rays blinding you, just under his eyes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, can we stealth forward and try to do this thing?
Might I ask exactly how you're stealthing forward? Like, just give me a basic description.
One would issue. Okay, what does the street look like? Is there lots of stuff on it? Are there market stalls, or is it just like
There
a
is
sort of?
not market stalls. This seems to be a more rural town in general. While you notice some of the houses definitely are built close enough together, there is alleyways once in a while. Mostly, you see a lot of grass, a lot of stone. It's mostly plain, but there is houses, there are stones, there's things to dive behind.
Okay, so I guess the most sensible thing would probably be to keep low and move from cover to cover.
Sure. Sound good to you, Six?
Yeah, okay, before we go, party, when you see the smoke bomb go off, get ready to book it.
Leo nods.
Do.
Leo's also going during this course of planning is activating I don't know how many mirrors I have left, but he's just re-upping mirror image.
Sure.
That's roll.
Yes, and also just for my sanity, it's probably been about 10 minutes, so I'm going to remove Karuto's 10 HP.
Yep.
That's fine.
I need a stealth roll from Karuto and 6. Both of you see different pathways, but because you very carefully know where you want to get to, you realize that, hey, that stone's not big enough for the both of us, so one of you goes a different direction. And you very much like a cat 6, you scale houses and use your climbing abilities to just get to areas that no one would expect you to even be in. Whereas Karuto seems to just blend into the grass and roll very quickly between areas. And within a minute, you both get to within 40 to 60 feet of that guard tower, directly behind cover, right next to each other. Upsettingly.
Okay, I'm gonna light it. Do what you do. I trust you. Are you ready?
He nods.
All right, she lights the bomb and then quickly hands it over to Karuto.
Karuto, because you're close, just give me a basic attack roll.
Okay. Nice.
In a single smooth motion, as it is tied onto your arrow, you snapshot it directly to where you saw the crossbowmen. And for a second, you see one of them look at it like, oh, they missed. And they start aiming towards you. And and a cloud of smoke appears all over the wall, all over everything that's around them. Their very guard tower is just covered in this thick black smoke. Your ears perk just a little bit as you can hear them coughing and trying to yell and shout words of obscenities of they have no idea what's even happening or what you just did. You're pretty sure some of them. One of them is at Leo, and one of them is at Navali.
The one against Leo is on a mirror.
That's hilarious too.
My net went out for a second. You said something about, like, you couldn't believe, and that's where it broke up.
Oh, my apologies. Let me say again. You are able to flee. Like, they're not going to be able to stop you. But they very quickly, in the smoke, as they're trying to recover, shoot very randomly at people. 6, you're taking 2 shots. Leo was taking 1. Navali was taking 1.
Gotcha.
6, you're the only one who got hit.
That's fair. I've got the hit points.
Again?
Thanks,
Oh.
Celastra.
No problem.
Just randomly, crossbow bolts are shot towards the party, and one of them lands into your back 6 for 11.
Dang.
Your healing rolls are so good.
I'm
Or-
using higher level
I was
casts.
about to say, these are like level 4 healings, but they're still really good.
And in theory, I could max that out as well.
I'm gonna roll medicine and see if Celestra can tell how badly everyone's hurt.
Sure.
We're just gonna take that for now.
Memory serves, Karuto was the worst by far, but Leo was also very low.
Leo's at
And-
5.
Okay.
He was worse than Karuto, actually.
Both Leo and Karuto were real bad.
Okay, this one's for Leo.
That is comforting. Leo nods, but keeps running.
So, as immediate danger goes by, I'm going to treat this more as a bit more of a skill challenge than anything else, as you are simply trying to escape and avoid more combat from the sounds of it. Can't imagine why. How do you make ground and how do you hide?
I will just when it comes to the locate creature spell, can I name something as simple as, because it says specific creature known to you or nearest creature of a specific kind? Can I name like Aridian guard?
You'd have to say human.
Okay, that's easy enough. That would make sense. But I could say human and then use that to.
You'd trigger it in Permilia. She's with you.
Oh, right. Never mind.
So, man, we didn't get a chance to sell some of the gross items we got.
Okay, regarding escaping, I want to I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. Consider off-road pathways that aren't immediately apparent to other people, like cat stealthing.
This makes sense to me. Could you roll me survival?
Oh, I'm gonna try. Hell yeah, I'm a boss.
Let's.
As you get a bit off forward through the road itself, Six pauses, stops, and points towards animal trails that are very clearly pathways that the party could use that would be minimum difficult for mounted people to get through. And you travel through areas that, let's just say, smell a bit worse, have a much taller grass. Some of your allergies probably start triggering. I apologize if anyone in the party has them. But you make ground in different and more unique pathways. It's going to be slower going than other ways, but if they weren't expecting you to suddenly switch, this is definitely a way of losing them. And you knew when you did this, no one was directly behind you. Six, you're pretty confident this was a great idea.
I'm pretty confident this was a great idea.
Amelia sneezes.
Do we feel as a whole that perhaps we're in less danger now than we were 10 minutes ago?
Roll insight. At minimum, you are in less danger because you're not in the middle of combat. But you know that they shot at you immediately, and if they just start talking to each other, they'll know what happened and set up search parties, and you're not far from Gerallia at the moment.
Okay. The reason I ask is because as we're running away, I want to field out loud, okay, so what happened?
Are you looking at anyone specific when you say this, or?
No, looking at the way ahead.
Okay.
Celastra glances back at Navali and Perm.
Camelia's being quiet at the moment. They're like just kind of lost and focusing on moving.
If Permelia looks like she's not going to speak, then Navali will. They sort of put 2 and 2 together about Oathkeeper.
Oh.
Yeah. I am uncertain how they were. It seemed like it was almost a planned attack. I'm not certain how it all happened so quickly. I thought perhaps it was only happening in our room and then hearing sounds outside.
Mother was
I think-
casting a talking spell.
I saw that.
That have. I'm assuming Arturius is the one who had your oath.
Lots of people had my oath. It could be any of them.
And that's when the fight broke out. Her parents fled, and we were surrounded by guards and had to deal with her, the one other dude, the brother. But I'm curious as to how it went with all of you.
Well, it turns out that this may have been more planned than we realized, considering I'm fairly sure the very delicious steak that I was fed was also drugged in some way.
They're drugging us too?
Alright, so could you roll me insight?
Insight, let's go. Where's insight? It's alphabetical. There you go.
You think, because you know poisons, you've had to work with them in your career fairly often. It wasn't poisoned. It was very distracting because you're not used to such a fine meal.
No, Scan. It was poisoned.
You are welcome to lie to the party, but you need to know the truth.
Character is insistent that it was poisoned.
As you're having this conversation, Karuto, as you insist it was poisoned, every now and then your ears perk up, and you can definitely hear the sounds of animals, every now and then a bark. Karuto, could you tell me kind of what animals you might know about?
I mean, one would assume that typically the flora and fauna wouldn't have varied a huge amount between the Vale and the surrounding areas, because they didn't care about animals; they cared about people. That said, it would probably depend how far away it is geographically, as to what animals he's used to. Obviously, foxes definitely.
Yeah,
So
I mean, barking makes sense. Foxes can bark.
Yeah.
So you definitely hear barking every now and then, and once in a while you hear an unfamiliar sound that just sounds like. It's fairly far away. Your ears can just pick up things from fairly far away. But you minimum know that as you are going through this trail, you can definitely sense that you are being searched for.
Haruto is going to try and gently sort of guide the path away from those noises.
Did you roll me perception or investigation?
Investigation, you say? Perception or investigation? Section 10, investigation 10. So it's basically the same dice roll. Nice.
It's not hard for you to go. The sound comes from directly that way, probably like 400 feet. So I'll just go directly this way, and it will be fine.
Mhm.
Minimum, Six's plan of going through these animal trails is definitely keeping your life a lot easier, as anything larger is going to have issues.
If we can find any kind of shelter that we feel semi-safe in, I can bring up the dome. So lick our wounds a little bit.
It's like a good plan to me.
Does anyone look for a place that could be a good shelter?
What can I roll?
Nature. Okay. I see your modifiers. I want you to know you're supposed to fail at least once.
No.
No.
Celestra, you hear the suggestion and you just kind of go, well, we're following Animal Trail. They use burrows and such all over the place. You're very attuned to your snake senses and understand of like, if these aren't normally designed for people, you just have to look for a very large tree or possibly just push a little bit over this rock, and between a tree and a rock, you find a little bit of a burrow that it's not big enough for your party, but it's big enough that you can kind of use this as a base hiding area that you can start setting up a shelter.
I think this spot might work. What do you guys think?
Character is going to also roll survival to give a second opinion. If
Sure.
the DM is okay with that. Oh!
It's going to take a little bit of effort to hide it, but not much effort. All you have to do is keep your heads down, move some leaves around so it looks like there's a bush behind this rock, and yeah, it'd work.
Leo actually currently has Mold Earth as a cantrip. Should that be, not knowing the exact piece of the terrain, but should that be useful to sort of...
You essentially can make the hole a little bit bigger and easily make it so with Karuto's help, you essentially make it look as if there's a tree, there's a bush, and there's a rock. That makes sense. And you're actually just underneath the leaves. In fact, I'll be so nice to say you successfully do that.
Hooray. And then knowing that my dome is sort of like an opaque sphere, I'm trying to position it in the way that it's least revealed.
With
And in fact,
Karuto,
And blend it into the environment.
go ahead.
say if I remember correctly, the sphere can be changed color as well, so you could just make it earth brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the very least, it would have to be someone actively looking in this exact area to figure out something is wrong, and it would probably be less about the color or the shape or even what's here, and more about why can't I enter this thing?
We could even cover it with a bit of dirt to make it look like a sort of a little hill.
Well, Leo will... he'll ask... No, he's not going to ask. He's just dropping it as a 1-minute spell instead of a ritual that feels urgent enough.
With the fact that you are doing this in a single minute, I will say that you successfully do this. And from the sounds of it, Karuto, you were intending to essentially help by smearing dirt all over it, and I'll allow that too.
Just, you know,
And we're quote unquote safe.
As far as you're concerned, you feel pretty safe right now.
After bringing up the dome, Leo takes a deep, or like has a deep breath and just sort of sits on the ground in the very center. And then he'll quickly bring his familiar out and just position it outside on a branch somewhere in case he needs to peek out. But then he just sort of crumbles and like he has a headache and he's just trying to recover.
You all huddle together very closely in a familiar dome. Minimum, you know it's going to take effort to break through this and find it. Party, you feel like you don't have to run for at least a little while. And you're not protecting Mira, so who cares? What would the party like to do?
I would like to take a short rest.
As sad as I am to say this, as someone who desperately was hoping to get you caught into another combat before I could, you successfully get a short rest.
Yay!
You may restore whatever short rest things have and roll your hit dice.
it's half round up to restore hit dice, isn't it?
When you long rest? Yes.
Yeah. It's good enough.
My dice don't like me today.
Would anybody like additional help?
Rev is good.
Cool.
I haven't
Thank you.
decided for Leo yet. Figuring it out.
Man, if only we had that butcher guy here.
He's off doing his own thing. Oh, come on. Oh, come on.
That's actually able to perms hit dice button.
Yeah, so I can't see Permelia's hit points normally on her sheet, so I had to drag her into the world so I could update it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Leo's not
Permelia's
full, but he's fine.
just out there at the City of Red Sands.
Don't think about it too hard.
I am also doing, obviously using Arcane Recovery. Get some spell slots back.
Makes sense. Over the course of the hour, every now and then you do hear the sounds of animals, creatures. At one point, you get a little bit worried and hear scratching at the walls, at the dirt, but it leaves you alone after a few seconds go by. The bird catches, it was a squirrel that was trying to figure out why it couldn't enter.
And after Wallace, I think we're very hyper aware of small animals, rodents.
That is why I was happy to just say, yeah, no, you pay attention to it. But a full hour goes by. At the very least, you know that you are currently safe. 6, with some of your past training, a search party would be over the course of the entire day. So you're not fully safe, but they haven't found you yet.
Yeah, she'll suggest that once we have our wounds bound and have caught our breath, that we need to keep moving before we camp for the day.
Sounds like a plan.
That being said, you sit there and recover for an hour. Is there any conversations you'd like to have where you are actually safe? That seems like a no.
Yeah, I imagine, at least I can't speak for everybody, but Leo's sort of like mild shock and just like quiet is calm right now.
Same. 6 has the whole, okay, I don't want to end up in Aridian super jail. I have to take this seriously. I have to keep moving. I have to take this seriously. That's her sort of disposition.
Iridian super jail.
Celastra's just quietly stressed.
6, just because you said that out loud, could you roll me history? Iridian super jail totally sounds real to you.
Yeah, bro, they take people from the Rasahari and put them into re-education camps. I know this as fact because my dad said it was true.
Amelia's in shock and isn't going to argue with you right now.
Also, all of your pets go live on the farm somewhere when they die.
An Aridian farm.
I don't say that out loud, Skern.
Sure.
Don't worry, Navali. Your parents are actually safe at the farm.
Either way, you have bound your wounds. You feel as if you aren't found yet. What would you like to do?
Guess we keep going to our destination.
So, for a DM sake, did you intend to immediately switch straight west and just start heading to the Rasahari as quickly as possible?
I believe that was the plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, could this be done without putting us too much closer back to Gerallia?
I mean, you went basically straight north and then a bit northwest. You'd have to go south to head back there, so west is fine.
Okay.
You know that you would still run into some farmland and rural communities, but you don't know how quickly the message would get out or how dedicated the guards are there. That being said, traveling to Gerallia, you did know that there were patrols once in a while. It's hard to tell how wanted you are at the moment, though. You know, word can't spread instantaneously. Even by magical means, it still has to go through a chain of command before the rank and fodder can know everything.
We should probably resume our disguise. The traveling troop with servants.
Sure. I just want to get out of here.
So you cut straight west almost immediately.
Sure. And I don't know that Leo would be leading in anything, but he will occasionally try to look from behind with the bird just to see if there's any like forces that are sort of following.
Could you give me a perception with the bird?
That's the wrong thing.
That just means they have advantage. Which, sure. With the 13, as you start traveling west, as your journey goes on a bit longer, you do notice that there are definitely still search animals that are out and about, and every now and then a few men who are checking them as if seeing if they found anything and becoming disappointed. Your bird flies off and can report this very easily. You're not sure if they have caught any scent of you yet, but they're definitely just taking a very wide search. That being said, are you just going as quickly as possible? Are you trying to be a bit stealthy? Please inform me of exactly your methods.
So I would think that rushing would make us look more suspicious, and being stealthy might not be as successful with a cart.
A cart?
Huh?
You don't have a cart.
Oh wait, no. BD's taking that, hasn't she?
Hey, you're just on your. It's just the 7 of you.
Yeah. In that case, I guess we can take like woodsman's tracks and stuff.
So
Just
trying to
walking
keep your
on the
head
road with
down
you.
and be stealthy.
Yeah.
I will let
What does
you
everyone else
know.
think?
It will slow you down, but if you know people are searching for you, and it would make it harder.
Character is also going to lead the way as a fox. Because he's smaller and therefore harder to spot. And also, they're not looking for a fox.
It's true. Is there any objections to moving slowly and stealthily?
Nope.
I'll do my best.
Right. So let's ignore all the people in heavy armor. That is an excellent point. You are traveling with a fairly big group, and even as a fox and leading Karuto, it's not going to be easy to keep your tracks and such hidden for very long. But you can certainly try. I would like you to roll me stealth with disadvantage.
Stealth with disadvantage. Let's go.
Still pretty good.
Yeah.
At minimum, Salastra, Navali, you are making a bit of noise, but you're going in pathways that are definitely not designed for normal people. So you feel fairly secure that if you do run into anyone, it's going to be a much smaller troop than they would like. Minimum, anything that's mounted has probably gone a completely different direction. Anything else people would like to be doing in order to try and just stealth about as you head to the west?
Doing my best to be quiet.
I'm just checking a few things very quickly. Rev, could you roll me Arcana? You get this weird niggling feeling in the back of your mind that there's other means of tracking beyond the physical means. And you just have this weird suspicion that there's probably still going to be someone coming at you. You're not sure where that suspicion's coming from. It's like someone's trying to guide you and help you in some way or form. But you're confident that even with all the means that you're doing, something is still following you. You're not sure how you know this.
Rev will very, very hushedly relay that to everyone as we're trying to quietly travel through.
Leo's ears perk up and he's going to cast, because I imagine we're kind of still on the move. We don't have time for ritual spells. Leo's going to cast Detect Magic and scan the party for anything unfamiliar, any unfamiliar sense of divination or something.
You do still have to roll me perception, but please do so. You do get the unfamiliar sense of divination, and you're pretty confident it is actually coming off of reverence.
So coming off, like reverence himself, or
Something around him.
so not like an item that is like planted on him as a tracking device, sort of thing. It's like
Correct. Not something that is directly on him, but like something near him is also has some kind of divination magic on it.
they're tracking. I'm trying to. Leo doesn't finish the sentence. Because Leo had sensed divination when we were in the waiting room that the butler had left us in as well. And so he sort of okay, I'm just gonna waste all spell slots. Leo's going to now, as an action, try to identify. Well, it sounds like it's something on Rev's periphery, not necessarily on Rev, but nonetheless, Leo kind of pulls out a pearl, and Rev recognizes this as whenever Leo casts Identify and is trying to reach for you to touch it to you. And the goal is to see if, like, I'm trying to identify what the spell is that might be affecting him.
Sure, Rev will hold still for a moment.
Sorry, this is an edge case and I have to look up exactly what happens. Give me 1 second. You don't detect a spell technically on him, but the detect magic is something nearby him.
Can I keep that? Oh no.
No, you still cast
Yeah,
Identify.
I'm not sure, but they're certainly know where we are.
Rev will kind of actually glance at 6.
Oh boy. If we're being hunted and we don't know how to stop it, then I guess we can do what we did against the vampires, set up an easily defensible position. We're going to have to rest eventually.
Okay. Let's find the place.
Leo will also pull up to Navali, sort of ideally away from Permilia, or just whisper into her ear and says, "I don't know that there's anything Permilia can say to ward them off, but they might be able to hear us as well if there's any pleas she would want to make. I don't know."
Navali has a little bit of a conflicted look. I don't know if she might. I don't know if she's going to be in the right mindset, Leo, to do that. But we'll see. We might just have to just take it what comes to us. It's been a rough day for her.
Leo kind of like breathes in heavily, as if he was maybe hoping that there was an answer, but he nods and understands.
What time of day is it, Skarn?
So you've been walking and running for about probably 2 hours if you include the rest. 2 p.m.
Is this divination following us as we continue to move?
Yes.
Well, the more ground we make, the harder it would be for them to mobilize, I imagine. Even if they know where we are eventually.
So, from the sounds of it, Leo wants to try and make as much ground as possible, then find a defensible location. 6, you sound like you want to just find a defensible location now.
I am actually more in line with Leo's plan of making distance and then finding
Okay.
a defensible position. I agree with Leorin.
That makes sense. For the sake of another roll, who would be like pushing forward as much as possible then?
You mean as the leader?
Yes.
Oh, we're not being stealthy anymore. Or
Yeah,
at least
you're
I don't think
just
we
trying
need
to push as forward as much as possible is the point of like, it's probably not Karuto who is trying to be stealthy. And it's like, now we're trying to make some distance. Who would lead there? I'm happy to volunteer you if you can't make a decision.
Leo kind of looks to 6, but anybody's fine.
So, like, you mean as in, like, trying to, like, push away, like heavy things and whatnot?
I mean, like, going as fast as possible and having a long and a hard hike is the best way to describe it.
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, I think maybe 6. Unless you want to have Navali?
So if I were looking at things optimally, I could see a really strong reason why it might be good to say, hey, if we're gonna like hoof it through the wilds, maybe Navali goes first.
The only thing I suggest, or that I will throw back, is Navali does not have a good survival.
That's going to be
But-
survival.
Oh, it is.
Who said it
Yeah.
is?
Because the last couple have been survival?
You've been actively trying to go through like harder to reach areas. This is different.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry, that was my bad.
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I'll have let's have Navali do it.
Could you roll me either athletics or a constitution saving throw?
I'm gonna go for athletics. Dang, I'm good at athletics.
Praise Helm, I knew one of you would fail eventually. You push forward. About 2 hours go by. It's tiring as you get out of the less secluded areas. You do make some actual ground. But you have definitely started to realize if someone is following us, you are now in areas that are much easier to follow. That being stated, everyone else made very good distance. You're very confident that you can at least look for a nice defensible location. While it's not the best, uh, your legs start giving out fairly early, mostly because it's been a very stressful day. And you're just now looking a little earlier than you wanted to for a defensible place for when they arrive. It's probably about 4 p.m. This still makes sense as you probably want a defensible position before the sun goes down. You find what appears to be some solid rocks, some solid trees, and are able to kind of easily hole up in that area if you would like to do that.
Yeah.
Is there any other defenses you'd like to try and make if you believe that someone is immediately coming at you?
Just to clarify between the group, out of character, when we talk about a defensible position, are we talking about like take a long rest inside the bubble and like even if people approach us in the night, just like staying staying in the bubble and sleeping? Or are we
The problem with that is that if you do that, then you can just get surrounded and they just wait for you. It's not a good idea. My idea of a defensible location will be somewhere where there's both an easy way, like a easy defendable entrance, as in like choke point or a hard, a narrow place, but also a convenient exit, which is possibly less easy to spot from an approach.
Okay. Karito.
Yes.
I've done this before. Let me set up the front with like barricades and things we can hide behind, and you take care of securing the exit.
Character nods and sets off to do that thing.
Does Six need help with the barricade?
Yes, she was going to ask Navali and Permelia.
Navali will help.
Strong girls.
Yeah, we'll just start setting up the bubble in the place that makes the most sense while they're working on that.
So, just for my own clarity, Karuto, you are essentially securing a back way out.
Mm-hmm.
Six, you're creating basic palisades.
Yeah.
And Leo is getting his bubble ready.
Yep.
Karuto, quick survival check. Six, do you have any crafting proficiencies?
I don't.
In that case, we're all going to do survival check for you.
10. Okay.
The problem you're running into, Six, is most things that you are used to is either in the desert where you use a lot of natural dunes and cacti, or advice given to you from your mother, which expects easier to get supplies. But there's not too many trees that you can easily cut down and turn into palisades or sharpen sticks. So you're kind of lost to exactly what kind of defenses you need to make. Karuto, it's a big, wide open area. There's a lot of ways in and out. At the very least, surrounding you is going to be difficult, but also coming at you is going to be easy.
Mhm.
Leo, you don't have to roll. You make a bubble.
If we do have a choke point at all, Leo would offer to position it in a way that sort of plugs the hole if Six wanted that. Recognizing, though, that we wouldn't really be able to cast spells through it, so it would plug the hole for us as well. Or it's just sort of a backline safe spot, and then the battle could be in front of it.
I kind of lean toward the second option. What about you?
Leo has that face, that look on his face that he'd prefer to not battle at all. I'm trusting your instincts.
Okay, well, if we put it too far forward, it's easily surrounded and we'll get killed. If you leave it back, we can defend the front of it.
6, because you have seen him cast it many times, you also know he cannot leave the bubble once it's cast, which would cause its own complications.
I can have my bird do things.
It's true.
You're
Yeah,
pretty
I'm-
hurt, pretty tapped, aren't you?
Feeling better health-wise, but certainly without most of my instruments.
Far back is the right call. If there's trouble, I can get out there and hold them in place. You can
Okay.
shoot magic through this thing, can't you?
Through the dome? No.
Yeah. No? Oh.
I'll do what I can. Just have the dome up one way or the other, and I'll see what I can do from there. And Leo does that.
Ritual cast?
Yeah, because I got the impression we made up some ground this last
Yes,
leg.
you did made quite a bit of ground. You have no issues in ritual casting. This is just for my own time frame and head. Well, is there anything else people would like to do as you are essentially waiting to see if anyone follows as the dome gets created?
How's Perm looking?
Tired. She's still being very quiet. It has been a very stressful 48 hours for her. She still has exhaustion.
Mm-hmm. For the remainder of their time together, Navali is going to sit by Perm, but she is like doing it in a way of like not expecting them to talk. She just wants to be next to her.
Or persuasion. Or charisma. Just a charisma, actually.
Just a charisma? Okay.
Yes.
Yay.
It is quiet. It's not so much that she is upset by you being around her. It's more of you can tell other things are on her mind and she is very distracted. There's
Yeah,
a few
I mean,
times that you even realize that she almost forgets you're there. That's in itself concerning to you.
gotcha. Yeah, I still want like Navali to basically just like hover around her with the idea of like she's there if Perm does want to talk, but like also understands that a lot has happened, so she doesn't want to like say anything or force anything.
Okay. Is there anything else people are doing?
You'd like us to know?
Seems like the answer is no. A bit of time goes by. Uh, you're fairly certain almost another hour, maybe an hour and a half to two, uh, before Karato's ears pick up and he can start hearing the sounds of something coming towards the group. Uh, it's the same weird sounds of. You're still not completely sure what that is, and it kind of worries you in that sense. You can tell it's a larger animal, but not overly large. You've definitely heard larger and fought larger. And could you then just roll me perception? And because Navali has keen hearing, she can roll too. And no, you don't
Yay.
have advantage. You just are rolling normal. Just we're getting it because you have keen hearing.
Okay.
You can hear very heavy hoof steps that are definitely coming towards the group, and every now and then just low whispers of whatever these things are. They're definitely mounts. Uh, that being said, Navali, you're not completely sure how many people. That doesn't seem that many. Karuto, you're convinced it's just two of these creatures and maybe four total riders. It's not that many.
Kaito relays numbers to the group and then suggests that maybe if we ambush them quick enough, they won't be able to react or get away and reveal our position.
Karuto relays that to the group. What would the group like to discuss?
I don't really know precisely what our mobility is at the moment, but Leo's has to be in the bubble to maintain it, so he just has the familiar listening into whatever the group's saying. He's created a safe space if we need it, but
6.
Yeah.
What do you think as our resident strategy officer?
Oh god, I think that I'm very tired. It sounds like an animal, right?
Kaito shakes his head.
No? Oh shit, what is it?
2 mounts, possibly 4 riders.
Hey Promelia, what sort of mounts do the Aridian military use?
Whatever. It depends on our location. If it's Gerallia, it's the Sheldra. They're giant sheep.
Karuto, do they sound like giant sheep?
Kaito squints at 6. They are definitely large and hooved.
Oh my god, it's a giant sheep. Okay. Ordinarily, I would think ambushing, great idea. But I think a lot of us are tapped. And if we get caught out, I don't think we have as many resources to try and gain advantage again. What I'm saying is I think we should fall back and defend ourselves instead of initiating a fight. Yes, no?
I think I'm inclined to agree. Does everyone else think?
I agree.
Works for me.
Cardinals, I will remain here and report back.
So, Karuto, it sounds like you're scouting a little bit ahead while everyone else remains in the bubble or near the bubble.
Yeah, that could be it actually. Like, go see if they're actually heading in our direction, if they're actually gonna like intercept our campsite or not, or if they're just gonna walk by.
Does this sound accurate to everybody else?
It sounds accurate, but as soon as people come into the bubble, Leo will just say like, if they are using magic to track us, that they know where we are. I don't think they'll walk past.
Then surely there's no point in hiding either.
Can fight if I need to, but I'm relatively low on resources.
I suppose there's Leo has a defeated look on his face when he says this. I don't suppose there's any way we talk our way out of this.
Do you have an idea how we might do that?
Promise them that we're heading to the desert, that we aren't their problem anymore. They can verify that through their magical means if they really need to. Or give us an escort if they. I don't think they would, but.
Well, I suppose if we have to confront them, we might as well try.
Yeah, I'm not winding up in Aridian jail.
Aridian super jail.
Oh, Carter, don't even mention that here.
So we fight?
I mean, I want to see who it is who's stalking us first. But yeah.
I agree.
I'm not letting them take me or any of you. They come in here, I'm gonna fuck them up.
Right there with you.
I still got a little juice in me, so I can do my best to try to help.
So I guess someone or two people man the barricade, and the rest of us try and sort of have an ambush off to one side. And if Six wants to see who it is, then Six can be at the barricade.
I don't think I was
Possibly
able to make a
with-
barricade.
Oh, you want?
Six was unable to make a barricade, correct?
Oh no! After all that talk of making a barricade.
Didn't have the supplies.
Yeah. I guess we could use the bubble as a barricade initially.
Could all just wait in the bubble. What's the worst that could happen?
We get surrounded.
And they dispel it somehow.
I want to see what we're dealing with before we move. Like, we don't have the resources to do an ambush and have it fail. I've seen Celestra use a bunch of magic, and she just said that she's mostly out.
Mm-hmm.
Leo's eyes will glaze over. He's going to enter his familiar vision and sort of just as the party continues talking, he wants to see if he can identify anybody in particular as like a figurehead among these mounted riders.
Go ahead and roll me perception with disadvantage. Or not disadvantage, with advantage. That's what I meant to say, because bird. So they are still coming into view. You definitely, the bird kind of hovers above, tries to stay a little bit further away and keep an eye on them. Definitely sees two very large looking sheep with 4 people on top of, 2 in each of them, 4 people total. Some of them seem armored, one of them does not, though immediately you can tell it gets spotted. Does it try to get closer to get a view, or does it immediately retreat?
It was not able to identify any of the riders yet.
No, they're just too far away, but it sees one of them point towards the bird.
I guess it's probably not native or still easily detected. I think his instinct would be to turn it around or make it just keep going, kind of like not have it obviously change direction, like retreating, but it is sort of,
Nonchalant.
it's just trying to pass by, like it's just a normal bird. It's sort of his instinct. It's not trying to get closer in doing that.
I'm deciding what role to set for a nonchalant bird roll would be.
Deception?
It's deception or possibly survival. I'll let you decide which of the bird is rolling.
I mean, survival would be +2, deception would be -2. So
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
A giant crossbow bolt just kind of whizzes by it.
Bird will take that opportunity to get the hell out, I guess.
There's no issues in doing that. You can see one of the riders is reloading from the back of the sheep. It takes some time, and the bird just fully retreats.
Yeah, it gets behind some kind of cover, and then I just bamf it away.
Just gets behind some leaves, some branches, and poof.
Leo comes out and says, definitely 4 riders on big sheep. Couldn't get a good look at them, though. Some not wearing armor is what you said, Skern?
Single one was definitely not wearing armor.
Yeah. Leo says one of them wasn't wearing armor. I don't know. He's trying to remember if, like, Rosaline was probably the one of the siblings that was not wearing armor. It's my impression.
You met her, yeah. You know she was wearing a dress and not armor.
Yeah. It's like she has magic of some kind, so she could be the one tracking us.
Okay. I think that we're going to have to expect a fight of some sort. The people who are sneaky Maybe we can hide close to the dome. Not far out there, though. If they're tracking us with magic, we're either going to have to talk or fight our way out of it.
I
I
guess we
think
try one,
we
then
should-
the other.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my god.
Well,
Six just like, I just want to sleep.
I don't know that it matters now, but it may be that it has. Leo kind of looks at Permilia and then um, looks at Karito and says, "Probably the one of us two should be the face."
He nods, and his face changes.
If it's my siblings, they would probably want me back or captured, and I'm not doing that.
I'm not going to let him take you.
Same.
Me neither.
Just so the DM knows, Karito has adopted a typical Aridian-looking face.
For my own curiosity, what hair color?
Blonde.
Makes sense.
He just used one of the many faces he saw in the city and sort of, either model it off that or just copied it exactly. Which
So, I'm gonna let you do this. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
Like, even if you roll
Mhm.
poorly here, you succeed in doing this in some way or form without too much problem.
Yeah.
But I'd like to know how good it is. Do you have a disguise kit?
No, I've got shape change.
That's fair. Let's just make it a straight deception roll then.
Leo has a disguise kit, and he's proficient with it.
But-
At the very least, you definitely look like an Aridian, but it's the kind of face that you can tell. There's a couple of things that just look a little bit uncanny, but not too bad. It'll be fine. To put this in a different way, Karto, when you look at everyone else, what everyone else kind of sees is Karto very much try and look like all the Iridians he saw, but you can tell he minimum doesn't think highly of them. So a little uglier than they're supposed to be.
Ow. Man, if only I had the disguise itself spell. I could just do
Probably
it.
still would have made you roll something. Don't get me wrong, it's going to work. It's just to see how well.
Bastard.
Leo's trying to gauge if what you're about to do is that you want to go alone, or do you want him to come as well?
Perhaps I go ahead and you come out if it seems like things are going slightly wrong.
He nods. Though that would break the bubble. Now that I think about it.
Would you
Yeah,
object to me being there with you, Karito, in the
As
capacity
long
of one of the lady's servants?
he nods. Cool. So a character steps out. One assumes Rev follows him.
Both step out of the bubble and wait I assume a few feet away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone else step out to hide? This is mostly me asking Six. No, I do not assume Navali or Celestra try and hide.
No, I don't try to hide.
Okay.
That's a good way. That's a good assumption, but
Quick and Valley, find some long grass. Pretend you're a bunny.
Her ears will still stuck out.
Yeah, you're just a really large bunny. We're close to the Rasahari. It's totally feasible, right?
Sure.
Giant bunnies.
Yeah.
I mean, you're about to be accosted by giant sheep. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Oh no, giant feet.
Well, they have those too.
I believe they're called hooves.
Karuto,
Yes.
your natural perception is high enough that after about 10 minutes you can tell they're heading straight towards you without any hesitation. Minimum, they definitely have some kind of magical means tracking you and have been following it. A few minutes go by and they come into your visual view. You definitely see two people in front, both of them heavily armored, one with a crossbow and one holding a halberd behind him, uh, coming straight for you. One of them has the crossbow trained on you, but he has not fired yet. And behind them, they're staying within 60 feet, but following. Do you react to the first group first?
Kaito is going to wait until they get closer.
As you wait, and you can see the crossbow isn't trained on you, it's actually trained on Rev. The other group is slowly starting to get into view, and upsettingly, Leo was correct and guessed it. You do recognize the woman you ate steak with on the back of it, and you believe one of the brothers in front, who seems to look at you and has no look of recognition as she is riding behind too. The two in front give a wave to cause them to slow down, continue to point to the crossbow at you. One of them in a gruff voice, "Where are they?"
Kaito just looks blank. Where do you think they are?
Could you just roll me a choose a charisma skill and pick it?
Oh, Lord, okay. Intimidate, deception. They're all at -1.
I'm aware, that's why I don't care.
Yep. I'm just gonna go for like intimidation.
That
As
makes
if
sense.
Kaito doesn't give a shit. Doesn't work. Didn't expect it to.
I see one of them, the man with the crossbow, levels it towards Rev, and the other man kind of holds his hand out. We weren't supposed to shoot until we saw all of them, and they gave the command. Where are they, and who are you? The man with the halberd gets off the sheep and slowly starts walking towards you.
Kaito ignores him and looks to the two on the goat. So I assume you want Familia back.
As you say this, the two and the other sheep kind of look towards you. Uh, well, technically, we wish to have a long conversation that may turn into many different things, and it'll be very interesting to see exactly what we want or what I want. And he's willing to just kind of let me do what I want here and see what happens. Yes. Who are you? You don't look familiar.
Was this the brother who promised us safe passage, by the way?
The brother on the front?
Yeah.
You never met him.
Oh, okay. So I have no idea.
I mean, you
Good
met him
point.
very briefly, but you never met the safe passage part.
Yeah, okay. But do I recognize him?
Let's have you roll a wisdom.
Wisdom.
It was the one who took the two cats away in Leo.
Character sort of narrows his eyes at the girl, obviously knowing who she is and having the advantages in that way. He leans over to mutter towards Rev. Can we trust the man?
Say not, he's here.
Character holds up his hands. One moment, if you will. And sort of gestures towards the dome. Does Rev follow?
Ooh. I don't think so. I think Rev stays out there. He's just keeping an eye on them.
Rev definitely
Okay.
is the one who has a crossbow trained on him.
Fair enough. Character is going to retreat anyway, but of course, can just be back out in a moment's notice. As he enters, he says, "Oh, actually, can you hear from inside the dome? I'm pretty sure you can, can't you?"
You can, but
Yeah.
like the conversation, you had to step a few feet out. It was
Yeah.
still muffled. They could get the gist of it.
I was gonna say, could Navali hear it and relay it?
Yeah, like the volley for sure. Everyone else, it's kind of like, well, you might have missed a word or two. Do you have keen hearing? Why did I let you have keen hearing?
So she
It's
could
fine,
just
just
relay.
It's gone. 2 words. Flashbangs.
You're going to
Yeah,
New
so
Verdi. You're going to. It's fine. It's fine. You're going to New Victoria at some point. It's fine. Continue.
yeah. So character enters and says, I assume you heard all that. He
Yes.
turns to Familia. The decision is yours, considering we have already recently made a false judgment about someone's character. Perhaps they do just mean to wish to talk, especially since they came so lightly armed.
I don't know why they'd be here. I just don't know.
Well,
You don't need an insight to know that she is too tired to actually think normally.
let's go see what they want.
Perhaps, character says, holding up a hand, perhaps we can ask if this talk can wait. If they found us once, it's not as if we can run.
Don't have to run forever. We just have to get to the border, but you're right.
As long as one of us stays watch, or 2 of us, probably safer, then we can talk when you are rested, when we are more prepared. Character looks to everyone as if, saying, does that sound good?
I'm not sure if we're gonna be given a choice, but we can try.
Something doesn't sit well with me about this entire scenario. They knew where we were, but they only brought 2 dudes. If they wanted us
Well,
arrested, they would have brought more.
character nods. My point exactly. This is why I am more inclined to believe that they actually wish to talk, and we're just bringing them for protection.
I think that we should let them talk. We were all involved in a big fight today, and the more time that they have to think about what they want, the more cruel demands they can make.
Hmm.
We could invite one, not all of them, into the dome.
I'm not sure they would agree.
I know.
I suggest we keep the dome active as a fallback. And Pamela Navali?
Navali looks to Perm.
She seems like she would just doesn't want to actually have to think about what she's planning to do. Willing to act upon whatever the group thinks is right. Minimum, you can tell she doesn't really want to fight them.
Then let's go talk to them.
Character nods. 6, Leon. If things do head south, one thinks you would be able to hear.
Yes, it's fine.
Well, I will endeavor to make it clear if it is necessary to break the dome. He takes a breath and moves to leave the dome.
As you do this, Rev, you were watching them the entire time with a crossbow trained on you. Could you just roll me perception?
Okay.
Cool.
Ooh.
Could you roll me Arcana?
Seems right.
You have no idea exactly what she casted, but while Karata went to the dome, you could tell that the woman mumbled something and made an arcane gesture. Afterwards, there was a little bit of a shimmer around her, but you're not completely sure what spell was cast.
I couldn't have caught it in time to counterspell it.
It was beyond 60 feet.
Okay.
That being said, then the sheep goes a bit closer and they both get off and tied over. They had a bit of a long conversation and they seem to just be waiting now. The guards, the two armored men, look uncomfortable. Like they want to shoot you and do not like that they're not being allowed to do so.
So for clarity, the brother and sister approached, like they're closer now.
They're not closer than the guards, but they are closer than they were before. They've gotten closer. Let's just say now they're in counterspell range if they try to cast something.
And I mean, I've been able to see them, right? Like dark vision wise, that's not impeded it by any means.
Daylight's still out. You've been able to see them
Oh,
the entire
fair.
time. They've not attempted to hide from you either.
Rosaline Chiara Lavinia von Gerallia.
You remember my name.
And
Servant boy.
is that Elrican?
Yes, I saw you destroy that creature with some finesse.
This is quite a surprise. What brings you out this way?
You know what?
I do. Fill me in anyway.
I will say their conversation was long, but not that long, as they start coming out now.
Okay.
So who is in the dome with Leo at this point?
6.
I believe just 6. Is this correct?
Yep.
So Permelia went out as well?
Oh, I was intending to go out.
Oh, okay.
I'll stay.
Just Leo.
Leo will snag 6 just before
Yeah,
she leaves and say,
right.
this dome isn't... If Elrickson is out there, he's messed with my magic before. This dome is not as safe as he could probably bring it down.
Then
Just as
don't
a
treat
note.
it as infallible. Yeah, if a fight breaks out, I'll come back you up.
He nods. And Leo will observe everything from the position of his familiar on a nearby tree.
Sure. Rev, before they can respond to you, they notice that people are coming out of the dome and just look towards them and start ignoring you.
Rev will look toward his group and wait patiently.
Where are all the cute ones? Fine. Hi. We wish to have a conversation to, what's the parlance? Parlay? Both the guards do not seem to pleased by exactly what's being said. So, we're just under the assumption that my sister is not actually the leader of your group. No offense, dear. Who is?
Hello.
Bullshit.
Rev will smile
Naruto.
pleasantly.
Naruto smirks.
I point at Rev.
Roll persuasion with advantage.
Hell yeah.
He did destroy that thing with considerable prowess and ability. Why? Why would... Okay. Hi. Well, this became awkward. So you're not a servant boy.
No.
Are you sure?
You wanted to parlay. How can we acquiesce?
Okay. You broke a very powerful sword. How?
I beg your pardon?
My sister had a very powerful sword. It's broken now. How? Hold on, let me back up. Did you do it?
Scan.
Yes.
Just from actually, no, I will need more conversation. Never mind. I was like, can I sense her intent behind asking this question? But no, we'd probably need more like.
I'll still allow an
questions.
insight.
Oh, okay. Let's go inside. Ooh.
She is not good at hiding her expressions. And you quickly pick up that this isn't planned expression. This isn't someone who is energetic because they're constantly faking it. This is someone who kind of lives on whim. So she's not hard to read. And to you, she's an open book.
Mm-hmm.
You can see this is morbid curiosity, not malicious intent. Like, she didn't think that should be possible. If that's possible, what else could be possible? Curiosity.
Character is going to speak out of turn and say, "Why do you wish to know?"
She's going to kind of look towards her brother, who gives a shrug. Well, you see, I didn't think. Well, how did you do that? It's supposed to be divine will. And if you can break divine will, what are you?
Oh dear, you followed us a whole day for that. Is that the terms of your parlay? That's what you want to know, and then you'll leave us alone?
It's the start of conversation. Do you not understand how conversations work, Cat?
I understand that you followed us for a day. Very well, we had assistance.
I miss the cute ones. They were so much easier to talk to. Do I have to keep... Yes. Are you really the leader?
Rev will twirl his finger in a hurry it up gesture. Or move it along, rather.
Fine. I have many things to request from you, and in return, I promise your safety to where you're going.
Would I need another insight, or can I tell?
You don't need to reroll insight. Though she means it, that doesn't mean the people around her do, as guards look concerned by what she's saying.
And her brother?
Her brother doesn't care. He's more stone-faced, but you can also tell he has a nonplussed look the entire time.
Parito leans into Rev and says, "She's being genuine."
So you want to know some things, and if we answer, you'll give us safe passage, you say?
Well, no, I actually expect a direct favor from you, but I can't exactly tell you what that is unless you promise me that you're willing to actually have a conversation.
It's not much of a conversation with those friends of yours pointing crossbows at us, isn't it?
Yeah,
Is that
and
what you consider parley?
yes, and they are wanted criminals, and fine. She's trying to cast a spell. Do you just counter spell?
Is she the one that said fine?
Yes.
No.
Cool.
See what she does.
You see both of their eyes suddenly glaze over. Go to sleep. And they both pass out. Better?
Damn. Navali's surprised by that, but she nods.
Parito looks sort of impressed, and then
I will
drops his
allow an
disguise.
Arcana if anyone wanted to actually figure out what spell she casted.
Anyone?
I prefer proficiency, but I'll allow
Okay.
you for other reasons. Rev, I'm not going to tell you the exact spell because you don't have proficiency and would not learn this spell. But you can tell she just cast a level 6 spell, a 6th circle spell, very flippantly.
Oh God.
Gonna keep up that demeanor. Okay. Everything is fine.
um. Yeah.
Very well, we can have a conversation.
Excellent. So, here's the thing. I want you to do a huge favor for me, and I want you to tell me, can you do it again?
Perhaps.
Can you protect someone who doesn't want to go back?
And she means go back to like the military or go back to Aridia?
Aridia, yes. You can tell that. I don't have to hide that one.
Yeah, we could do that.
Excellent. Where is your guild hall? You have kidnapped me.
What?
What?
What? Rev's looking at Elrican.
You can tell almost immediately from the look on his face. She probably discussed this with him before they came here. He doesn't seem to care.
What does Perm look like?
Confused?
Does Rosaline have an Oathkeeper?
Roll insight. You don't see a sword on her 6.
You want to go to our guild hall and what? Just wait, or
Well, yes, first of all, from what I saw earlier, the people of Dovran are far more attractive, and I don't particularly want to be force married off. And second of all, how do I put this elegantly? I do not wish for the temple to force me to do things anymore. And this seems like the easiest solution for everybody.
do I believe her?
Insight.
Oh, lovely.
You may believe whatever you want.
From
Uh,
the bird's perception, is she getting sick?
It doesn't look like it, no.
one assumes as well that character was like, yeah, she's telling the fucking truth.
Yeah, Karuto, as far as you can tell, she is very easy to read. Now, there is things that don't add up directly, but she's also very clearly choosing her words as a, let's just say, way that could be interpreted in a few different ways. And your interpretation is she just doesn't want to go back and wants to instead go to a place that can easily protect her from the consequences of leaving.
Character leans in towards Rev. At the very least, this will probably piss off Rosalind. We should do it.
Okay. Understand we're going to have to talk about this. I hope that's okay. Just another very brief talk in just a moment. But I suppose I do want to ask, how do you intend to guarantee our safe passage exactly?
Oh, it's quite simple. I say that you have kidnapped me and I'm going in a completely different direction and you have to follow me, and then you go wherever the fuck you want. I don't care.
So, cons of this, it sounds like, is that we will be criminals. Like,
Oh, you already are.
kidnapping royalty. Or not royalty, sorry, nobility?
Yeah, about to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you prefer to be criminals for murder?
What?
We didn't kill anybody.
Tell that to the dead man inside our house.
What dead man?
His head was crushed.
What?
Rip Gary.
Nivali's trying not to look at Celastra.
Yeah, like, for what it's worth, this is genuine, actual confusion from Six. No,
And Rev.
he told us not to kill anybody, so we didn't kill. You watched us.
Gives a half-hearted shrug.
Well, that's just trying really hard not to make a weird face.
Oh, it's just gonna 1 second. Character doesn't know. Yeah, the character definitely doesn't know. Character's too distracted with the woman who was very interested in him. Now, both A, casting very powerful spells, and B, wanting to come with them.
Waifu for Karito? Question mark?
Oh my lord.
Obviously, that's the entire intention of the entire Lavinia family. Just waifus, obviously.
Infinite waifus.
House of Infinite Light. Oh lord.
Regardless, I simply wish to make sure that you're criminals for more difficult to prosecute reasons without causing great and painful harm to the poor noble.
Sure. Anyway, we need to talk right away. If you would give us just a few moments.
Okay, just so you're aware, I can see the dome. I can dispel that.
As a point of courtesy, please leave it up.
She doesn't respond to that.
And we'll know if it goes down, so.
Whoop.
He was all too happy to avoid her flirting from inside the dome.
Are we all grouped up together?
Sure, you can easily head back into the dome, and they do not try and stop you. You can tell both of the guards appear to still be dead asleep, and the two siblings are just kind of watching you. The giant sheep are just munching on grass. They don't care.
As soon as they walk in and they're out of like earshot, I'm always gonna look at Perm like, Perm, I mean no offense, but your family is weird.
I know. I know.
She wants us to kidnap her?
So she is a priestess of Aridia, and I don't know. Right, none of you know anything about the five. Sorry. Aridia has a lot of rules, namely that you're not allowed to procreate unless it's with who the temple assigns you with. I think that's what she's trying to avoid.
What is it with laws about sexuality?
She shrugs.
Oh my god.
So who wants to tell her that we're probably not gonna be back at the guild house for like 6 months?
Oh, was the impression that she's expecting an immediate escort?
From
That
the
might be.
impression that you got, she didn't even expect you to go back to Dolveran. It seemed like she just assumed that she wanted to go to where you lived.
Okay, so she's just going to go to the guild house and wait for us, potentially?
That's what it sounded like.
Perhaps we inform VD of this.
Maybe she could help us on our journey.
I don't even know if we have enough food for another person.
I'm not traveling with my sister.
I don't want her on this mission. There's too much she could learn.
Fair enough.
Well, I suggest we inform VD and they can travel together. At least that way there is no chance of her coming to the wrong place.
I think it might be better to tell VD to stay in Dolveron and avoid having VD have to put up with her as well. She can find her own way there, I imagine. But we should warn VD. Assuming that we're Leo sort of takes a look around and says, assuming that we're thinking about agreeing to this.
If we don't agree to it, I imagine we're going to have a bit of a, fight on our hands. I don't feel like we have a choice in this.
And at the same time, she is, in theory, an outcast. She does not wish to live by these restrictive rules, at least.
And yet, she sort of looks at Permelia somewhat apologetically, and yet she's the type to create rules that discriminate and hurt others. We would be empowering somebody to release what little restraints that might actually keep her from hurting others. Not that I wish this upon her by any means. But, well,
Amelia.
Yeah.
How much do you trust your sister?
I do not particularly trust anyone in my family at this moment. That being said, while I certainly am very embarrassed by her, she has never done nearly as much as others have.
I see. Rev's eyes are wide, and ever since he got in here, his hand has he's been flexing his claws and kind of doing hand motions to stop his hand from shaking. And like when it's still for a moment, it kind of shows. And a question, I suppose, a military question, maybe. What does it? What does it mean, or does it mean anything, if an Aridian was killed on Aridian soil? Is this a bigger problem?
I don't think it actually is. You didn't kill on. She, unlike everyone else, she knows who did the killing. She was there. Kind of gives a glance to Celestra. You didn't kill anyone. I know this is gonna sound bad. Important. It's more likely that someone will ask for money reparations to buy a new guard.
So it's not even theoretically possible that that could be stretched to, I don't know, means to perhaps trigger a conflict.
Uh, if they try very hard to do so, maybe, but it would. I, I don't. Every conflict that Aridia gets into, it's for land grabs. They don't normally care that much about the people.
If we, quote unquote, captured an Iridian princess, though, I'm sure we'd be on the first ship to no longer having a guild. If Dolveron chose to disband us as soon as that reached them. Is there a middle ground to be had that we could make the venture back to Gerallia when the time is right, rather than her be captive?
I couldn't tell you. Everything's just happening too fast on my end. I don't know.
Okay, it sounds like she wants to get out of here, and if she can get out of here, then she's gonna leave us the fuck alone. So, what if it's just not kidnapping? What if it's something else? There's gotta be another way to phrase it.
He was inspired by Permilia's rebellion and left on her own accord. Is that a good way to phrase it?
She's chasing her sister into the Rasahari.
If I suddenly went, I need to do this and chase someone, I doubt a lot of people would question that. She's not military, she's a priestess.
So she heads to Dolron to collect the fine that we inevitably owe for a death among their guards. And we will meet her there when we can.
I actually like that, if we could spin it that way.
I hate to bring this up. Again, I'm not thinking straight, but don't we have to tell my sister your plan and see if she'd agree?
She seems to be pretty single-minded in what she wants. I would hope she'd be willing to compromise. If it's a solution to her, she's going to sit there and wait one way or the other. Why does she have to start a larger war with a larger conflict with Dolveron in the process? Dolveron in one of its guilds. If we can assure her that we will do what we're going to do, I would hope that that would satisfy her.
While you're having this conversation and you look out the dome, you can see that they did not dispel your dome. The brother is carefully making sure both sheep are tended to, and the sister is just waiting on a rock, patiently waiting for you to come out. So they seem to be giving you all the time you would like to have to discuss.
Should we start there and negotiate as needed?
On the one hand, if she is not genuine, we would be telling her exactly where we are. But
Leo wasn't there for the ritual, but I think he was there when we learned about the ritual. And I'm trying to remember if it was provided to us like sort of written down. Did it have like reagents that were sort of like?
So Leo actually never even learned about the ritual because even finding out about that was afterwards. That being said, the rest of the party, yes, you know there was reagents. It was about 300 gold that was paid for elsewhere because they felt bad about a different problem.
Yeah, I suppose the way Leo would bring that up, not knowing the details, would just be like, you could just tell them how to do it.
And then what reason would she have to make sure we are safe?
That being said, the rest of the party knows there was an actual fight involved, and the person who was cursed could not move.
Yeah, it was pretty involved. Who was it who actually cast the spell to initiate the ritual? Was it Stray?
I don't think it was a spell. It was not Leo. Leo wasn't there, but as a player, I thought it was only Shield of the Outcast was sitting there, and that it was sort of just like saying a bunch of words and
Yes, this is
burning
correct.
incense and stuff.
Like, it was a ritual. To be clear, it was a ritual that technically Celestia cast.
Gotcha.
okay.
So Lastra did cast it. So theoretically, we could do it again.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, my biggest concerns here are that our crimes or whatever get super overblown and then we get hunted down and sent to Aridian jail. And also that she's a dick to VD. If those two things are taken care of, then I don't actually have an issue with any of this.
Stuck on the potential war thing before. So in reference to VD, why does she need to meet up with VD?
No, she needs to not be a dick to VD.
We just need to send VD to Dolveron.
Well, where's she gonna
tell
go?
VD to...
She was going to Dolveron too.
She could just hang out at our guild hall.
Yeah, the guild hall that VD is going back to.
Well, that's what if we divert VD straight into Dolveron and just sort of remove her from the picture.
That's not going to
We-
solve the problem of Rosaline going to our guild hall.
We might be able to see if Pro can house VD for a few days. Meanwhile, Rosaline goes and waits at our guild hall.
Is our expedition going to be like 2 or 3 months projected?
Potentially. It would be a big ask from Crow, but
Well,
VD was working in the city. Doesn't she have a place? Or she probably has figured out a place to live, to do work. She wouldn't travel to and from Dolveron every day because it's several days to the guild hall.
While this is true, she never actually discussed where she was sleeping in Dolveran. You know that she had to be, but you don't know where.
I mean, suffice to say, I suppose my point was that if we just tell VD to not be in the same place that we know Rosaline will be, then Rosaline's sort of free to do what she wants until we come back, whether that's at the guild house or pacing through Dolveron on her own.
okay, first of all, it's our guild hall. VD has every right to be there.
That's
I
Right.
think I'm understanding I'm seeing perhaps a bigger problem. If we send her there, it doesn't matter where we send VD or what, eventually they're going to interact and she's going to perhaps have opinions toward her.
I mean, we can always just ask BD to let us know if she's inappropriate.
How would she do that?
When we return, of course.
It's kind of looking around to gauge everybody.
For the sake of the narrative and understanding, how does everyone seem to be thinking about the situation?
Celestra has concerns. She doesn't really know the best solution.
Pensive snake.
Hmm.
I mean, Leo's thinking is that if we're doing this, and if Rosaline agrees to not be a quote unquote prisoner, then we just need to make sure that VD lives somewhere else in the short term.
Or we just set the expectation that it's part of the deal.
Paradise points at 6.
Well, my issue with that is how do we enforce that?
We don't.
I mean, we will presumably find out in several months. I also know her to be very versed in magics. I don't know. It just doesn't sit well with me. But I also don't really know what else there is to do.
You could also tell Rosaline to hang out here, and then we'll message her and let us know when to come to Dolveron.
So why don't we? So we have a way back. Without going back through the Rasahari Desert, we have the magic teleportation. Why don't we just ask Rosalind to just wait there for us? We meet up. We travel back to Dolveran with her. We're gonna have to go back there anyway. Means she gets to go somewhere else. BD can stay at the guild hall. And perhaps that will also keep any sort of interaction outside of Dolveran so that we have no political troubles.
Would we have to get in contact with Azel? If I'm following this plan correctly?
We
Well,
could simply
we
stay at
could.
the nearby village.
Yes. That would be what I would suggest. I don't know if we should bother Hazel about that, but just say we'll meet you at that village. I'm sure the locals would be interested,
Would
or maybe
she,
they wouldn't.
if they were interested, would would that rumor be a bad thing? I mean, that's still near the Aridian border, right?
I don't remember.
Is
Uh,
it
I don't
actually
think it
halfling
was.
population? If I
Halfling and tiefling. I will happily explain this again. It is in 3 different borders. It's hard to tell exactly who owns that town, but one of the borders is Aridia.
Well, it sounds like a good idea to me.
But we will have to let her know that we're going to be gone for some time.
Well, perhaps it is time we talk to her again then.
I think that would be wise. Is everybody ready to go speak with her?
I just want to be clear on this. So we're going to use that spell to send her there and tell her to what? Lay low in that town until we come get her, is that right?
I was thinking she would make her own way there, and we would
Same.
use the magic spell once we're finished in the Rasahari.
Oh, that makes much more sense. Yes, let's do that.
yeah.
It's been a long day.
All right. Well, guess let's
We're gonna
get
go out
going.
there and suggest this, and she's like, "Nope." I'm like, what?
Yeah. Back to the drawing board.
So after that long conversation, do you pop out of the dome?
Yeah, unless anyone wants to do otherwise.
What was the name of that town? If we're telling her to just, make her way there.
We had a
I-
map.
I
Didn't
know
we?
this is hilarious, but I do not believe you ever learned the name of the town.
Oh boy.
Oh, we had a map. But we had a map.
You know where it is.
So we could just give her the map.
True.
Or describe it, or draw a map.
Or just the town at the edge, on the border of these three places. Sure, certainly, there's not many towns that meet that description.
Jokes on us, there's actually like 5.
We'll meet you in the
Iridian
blighted
border is very
continent.
complicated.
No,
Oh no.
I mean, she wants to go there for sure. If we are leaving the teleportation circle, I feel like at this point, even though Leo sort of has to steel himself to get flirted with, if we're trying to appeal to her, Leo will show his face and close the dome.
Yeah. And
With
character
everybody
also
else.
drops his illusion. Although I will point out he drops all illusion, as in ears and tail as well.
Karatell, roll me charisma.
Oh lord. Just straight charisma?
Yep.
Okay. -1, let's go.
As
Whoa.
you drop all illusion and as the dome drops, you can see her sitting on a rock looking at the sky as if counting time, and looks over and looks real excited at Leo and Karuto. That looks confused, but still seems a little bit excited to see you, Karuto.
Karuto has to hide his mild disappointment at not, like, freaking her out. But, you know.
Well, I see you've brought the cute boys back. Are you done talking? Have you agreed yet?
For the sake of expediency, can we just outline the plan to her?
Sure, you outline the plan to her. She looks at all of you. That is not at all what I asked for.
But it will get you what you want.
How?
So
They'll just grab me.
So we have to believe that you are currently on the run.
Well, no, but I will be the moment that I decide not to return to that temple in a few days. Thus, I need a very good excuse to why I cannot.
Did we even explain about the whole, like, what if she traveled to Doveran to get the money?
I mean, you went with the...
Go to village, lay low.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
You could try a different tactic, sure. Well, I suppose then I'd have to talk to my family about if that's what they'd want, and then they'd just decide they want Permilia back, and then they'd have to go through the military. That becomes a whole mess. And then the temple will realize I'm either lying or that it's not true. Why are you so not okay with kidnapping me? It's a willing, consensual kidnapping.
Generally,
It's
people don't like to kidnap people.
It makes things so much easier.
I would like to point out that technically, if she is volunteering, it's actually not kidnapping at all.
Okay, so we take you back to our guild hall because we've kidnapped you. And then your government says those people from Dolveran kidnapped our priestess. We want her back. And then what happens? And then
Well, persuasion. Well, what will probably happen is this whole thing will go way. The bigger names will talk about it, and then they'll just argue instead of actually acting.
And what happens when they get tired of arguing?
Roll persuasion with advantage. that one clicks of why you're so hesitant for the kidnapping plan. Oh. Fine, you didn't kidnap me, but then how in particular am I going to get out and have an excuse not to be there?
You don't happen to
Can't you
have.
just be a runaway?
Oh,
Like, what does that?
and do you have ways to protect me if I'm just a runaway?
Meaning what exactly? What is going to happen when you run away? Who's chasing you?
Well, almost guaranteed, what would happen if I was just a runaway is they would go to the government of Dovran and say, "Hey, there's this runaway here. We would like them back," and then they would either send someone to physically get me, or they would have people in Dovran already there to grab me.
Oh
Does
no.
Rev feel that that could be circumvented with a select few sendings? Or does he? Maybe not.
Hey, Rassawind, we're about to cause an international a diplomatic incident.
More like if you want to.
Could you
avoid-
not do that?
No.
we could, but
Hey, leader.
Hmm.
Rosaline would enjoy government protection if she were to join our guild.
I was just thinking the same thing.
oh
You
no, you
know,
cannot be serious.
Rosalind, and he will smile. If you were a runaway, and if the Dolvaranian government were contacted, and if you were a member of our guild, well, it might be a little more difficult to get you back.
Roll persuasion with advantage.
I hate this so much.
I hate
I
this.
love that
I hate,
nat 20.
I hate everything about this.
What
I'm
would
sorry.
my
To look at Perm. What is Perm's face?
Her eyes are down and she is not looking at this. Like, what are you guys doing? And what would my responsibilities be?
For the time being, waiting for us to get back to help you with your plan.
Done.
I look at Rev. Like I want to say something.
Rebel gesture.
And do not intentionally antagonize the other guild members while they're performing their guild duties.
A very fine point, yes. Rev will be, piercing gaze at her to drive this point home.
Okay. I need you to roll insight as she's still going to say done, but understand something. She does not think she's antagonistic.
Of course she doesn't.
Out of character. With the amount of money that we have spent putting people as guild people, we have probably single-handedly funded a road or two in Dovaran.
Yep.
Soto Avenue.
Rosalind, if you want to do this, take a good look at us. Look at your guildmates. We are equals. Do you understand?
She's going to look long and very hard and think very carefully for about 5 seconds before she opens her mouth and probably makes it worse. This is very important to me, and I understand this would solve all of my problems, and I don't disagree, and I still say done. Am I allowed to court other guild members?
Leo's hand goes in his head on his face.
Harriet tries to ignore the fact he's blushing.
Honestly, Navali can't say anything.
Your personal business is your personal business.
Leo sighs and then interrupts to say, if our other guild members don't believe that you have antagonized them when we return, I will go to one dinner.
Done!
Rev looks impressed.
And they must be not magically influenced when they say that they have not been antagonized.
I will not cast any of my enchantment spells on any guild member.
You will not cast any spells on any guild member, is that clear?
Some are beneficial.
Unless
Yes.
requested. I don't know.
Consent. Okay?
This guild is very strange.
Rev will smile at that.
Is Erickson, is he just like nodding along?
He has just been leaning up against a sheep as if waiting for this to end. He does not seem to care.
And I'll sort of address him and say, and what do you think of all this? Are you going back to Gerallia?
I am.
How does that play out?
Well, my original plan was simply to say, oh no, she's been kidnapped, whatever will we do? But apparently I instead say that she decided to join up with you and that pursuing you would be extremely difficult.
You seem quite all right with all this then.
Oh, I truly do not care. She wanted out, and this seems like an easy way to get her out without causing further harm.
Well, I can Leo's just sort of like whispers in Rev's ear, like I can start preparing paperwork for her to submit in Dolveron if she goes there on her own. I don't know if I don't know if our understanding of the guild system is that somebody could, if they had written permission, authorize
Like-
themselves.
I'm going to say yes for the sake of simplicity of you don't need to directly be there for.
Yeah. But Leo being the bureaucrat is willing to like draft up the paperwork and then well, technically it's still his signature on things, I think.
Rev will lean
Completely
back
makes
and
sense.
say, get it done as soon as possible, please.
Yeah, I mean he steps back and just starts working on it right now while the party continues talking.
So this is just an awkward extra question as she kind of looks towards her brother. I'm going to need one of them. Can I have Barum? Can I keep a mount in the guild hall?
We do
Do we
not
have
have a
stables?
stables yet, but I'm pretty sure it's a no. We should probably have one at some point, right?
You have
I
multiple mounts.
Yeah, and a cart. Okay, that's another thing to put on the guild construction list.
I think this is a
Mir-
situation where we just say yes and don't explain.
Yep.
Mira is also pretty good with the foxes. I imagine that she'd be pretty good with the sheep too.
Oh, by the way, how much is the fee for signing up a new guild member?
100 gold.
Yeah. Hopefully she can pay that herself, but
By the way, the guild signing fee is 500 gold.
100.
Roll
Oh wait, no.
deception.
This is amazing.
I love it.
What?
Let's go.
I assume you're paying for me then.
It is traditional for members to pay for themselves, of course.
But this is an untraditional situation.
Therefore, you see how important it is to stick to tradition as much as possible.
I cannot afford 500 gold pieces to be a part of this, and we've come to an agreement already.
So, well, she has a point. We'll pay half of it then.
That does
Also, roll
sound fair.
deception.
That does sound fair.
Navali, roll deception.
Yes.
May I assist?
I can afford 100, and I will work off the extra 150 when you give me something besides wait around.
Navali looks at the group like just kind of like nodding her head.
Leo's writing this into the writing into the contract, sort of in a deceptive way to say like the delivery will provide 100 gold upfront. Period. not to sort of imply that there isn't more.
Honestly, it makes complete sense to me. I have no objections to this.
Amazing.
I'm just disappointed it didn't work better.
I can't believe you rolled a nat 20.
Same.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful.
Leo shows it to Rev. It just sort of is like, such and such titles, Rosaline, Von Grilly, etc. It's hereby chosen by Shield the Outcast, yada yada yada. Our seal is below, or I don't really know. However, it is that it sort of needs to be authorized, and then there's a spot open for Leo's signature, but he's making sure you can read it first.
Brev will just read over it real quick and then he'll nod. Hand it back.
And then Leo will turn around to sign it. He's not trying to. Well, he'll pull Rev around because he doesn't want to have. Well, shit. Out of character. It's tricky because she doesn't understand the whole leadership thing that Leo's on paper. And so he's like, what do I do with my signature?
If it helps, I introduce myself as Raphael Kavanaugh. So, I mean, I think you could put any name on there and it's probably fine. If you just sign it yourself, I don't think she'll...
I think what Leo's pointing out is he's still technically, on paper, the guild leader.
Leo will okay. Perhaps the
sign
solution.
first, then.
Sorry, say that again.
Have her sign first, then. Would that fix it?
Have her sign hers. Sorry,
I mean, does she also need to sign the contract? That's my understanding, right?
No, she just has to present it. I think the worry is she reads over and goes, wait, why is he the one signing?
He's our secretary, of course.
Sure. That'll work.
Yeah, okay.
She's not going to question this too
She's
much,
not going
to
to
be
indulge any
clear.
bureaucracy.
Yeah. It's on Leo's mind, but if it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. But he signs it, and before he hands it over, he's like, again, one dinner if any of our guildmates report anything untoward, that dinner's off.
I will be the most lovely house guest you have ever heard of. And I look forward to seeing you afterwards.
Insight? No.
Sure.
Not joking.
Leo hands it over, turns around, and sighs.
She's going to look towards her brother, and they're going to have a quick conversation about exactly how they're going to play this off to get you out of harm's way. So you're aware, don't go east or south. I'm going to tell them that you went that way. After a few days, they'll just assume everything's fine.
Very well.
Don't go east or south. I think we got it.
And with directions given, she is going to start mounting up. The two guards, who are still very soundly asleep, get tied to the back of the other one and go with the brother and head back towards Gerallia. They seem to be completely sound asleep. Whatever spell she casts seems to last a very long time, because this conversation took over an hour. And with that, I'm going to call a very quick 5-minute break. We won't go too much longer, but I figure we should all have at least a bathroom break.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hooray.
So, I'm going to be a little bit brief, because as you're all aware, I like my random table generators for encounters. And let you know, disappointingly, you are going to make to the Rasahari unscathed. So,
That means we've taken a long rest.
you get a long rest, you get to fully heal. I don't get to kill you while you're down. You get multiple days of long rest. For the sake of both Navali, actually, I think just Permelia, funny enough, her exhaustion is gone. Feel free to fully restore your hit dice because you got multiple long rests.
Yes.
And you're going into the Rasahari fully stocked. That being said, you are traveling for about 2 days. Is there any conversations you would like to have during that travel?
Leo would offer to send messages to anybody that needs to be sent to, and he can actually open up a channel. Like if Rev wanted to talk to VD directly, then he can do that.
If offered, Rev would take him up on that at some point just to tell VD the score and who our new guildmate is. And
The
basically
fuck happened while I was gone?
a lot.
I'll be back in Delveran in like a day.
Be well. Be safe.
Any other sendings?
I don't know about sendings. I mean that I think covers. I mean, VD's really the only one that I think, because nobody else.
That's fine. This is me checking up. This is not me pressuring you.
So I don't think I've. Go ahead.
It's a completely different thing to the sending thing.
You have multiple days. Is there conversations you'd like to have?
I'm just curious to know how Perm's been the past couple of days.
The first day, quiet and very clearly depressed and not very talkative. She'll respond when talked to, but when you try to pressure her, she kind of go quiet. The second day, she's being a bit more open and clearly something happened mentally to her, and you can tell, but it's very hard to break through. She's starting to look like she's willing to talk.
Okay. I just want to ask, is there anybody who wants to have any conversations before Navali approaches Perm?
I am also very concerned about Permelia. Can I just be eavesdropping in the wings, or do you want it to be alone?
If Six wants to join in, I am fully okay with that.
I'm
Ooh, I like
concerned
the eavesdropping more.
Eavesdropping war?
Consensual eavesdropping?
consensual eavesdropping. How about this in character, Navali? If things are getting a little sad or a little rough, you just signal to me and I'll come over. Otherwise, it's the two of you.
Sure. All right. Yeah. I'll just wave over to you then. So I imagine the conversation isn't while they're on the road, Skern. I imagine the conversation's like when they're like sitting down for a bit.
You would have to take small breaks and you'd have to long rest, so there's multiple times that would happen.
I'm gonna say it's on like the second day when you said she's looking like she's more open to talking. Maybe like later in the afternoon.
Sure.
Navali is going to walk over to Perm, just kind of sit down. How are you doing, Perm?
I'm looking forward to seeing what's in store for us. She lies.
I'm guessing I don't even need to roll for that. Yeah. All I know is we're going to be facing a lot of interesting things once we hit the border. But new adventure, maybe some excitement. Navali says, trying to like keep the mood kind of light.
Yeah, it'll be nice to just see giant monster and kill giant monster. You can't kill. Hit giant monster until it stops trying to kill me.
Well, I don't think we actually have the track record against monsters.
Oh no, the sword won't let me kill.
Oh, yes. I just want to make sure before I talk to you about this, but are you okay to talk right now? I just want to make sure. I don't want to overwhelm you.
I am willing. You are important. What is on your mind?
I know what it's like to be so angry at somebody. And Navali's kind of like quiet back there with your brother. I understand being that angry. I just wanted to see if there was something, maybe talking about anything might help. But if it's not a comfortable subject, I don't want to pressure you.
Her hand is quivering and reaches a little bit towards the fake oath keeper that Celestra made. When I was caught doing something untoward and not particularly well liked by my family, there was a lot of suggestions to what to do about it. And my brother suggested the military program where I'd get this. He said it would be good for everyone and me.
So he was the one who gave it the suggestion then.
Yes. I thought maybe my parents would have regrets about selling their daughter to basically slavery, and no. They were happy to use it. I can't help but blame him. Everything feels like it's his fault.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see why you feel that. But you know what? We kicked his ass, Parm.
Yeah, we did.
Perhaps it might be bold of me to say this. I'm not gonna let him do anything to you ever again. And I know you're not gonna let him be able to do anything to you again. You're very strong, Parm. Whatever he did, and everything he did, and all of it that it cost, it's not going to happen again.
She's gonna be quiet at those words. I'd like you to roll me insight. She's digesting your words, and something you said seems to be off about what's making her feel bad. She continues to be quiet, kind of looks down and away. I still don't know why all of you want to protect me.
You don't know why we want to protect you, Parm?
She nods.
I don't think I can say I have a voice for everybody. I don't know exactly what everyone is thinking, but I can tell you what I am thinking. And I'm thinking because I care about you, because I love you, because you mean a lot to me, and because you've been there for me. It's just me. I can't say how the others feel, but you have been there for them, and, well, that's kind of just what friends do, you know? I mean, the very thought of stepping into Aridian territory scared the absolute shit out of me, to be frank. but I did it because I care about you.
But I'm willing to put all of you in danger, and I'm someone willing to try and kill their own family, their own blood. I don't understand why none of you think I'm a terrible person.
I've killed a lot of people before I met Shield the Outcast. I'm not a good person. I don't even believe now I am. I have a lot of things that I regret in my life. So, the fact that you're angry at a family that has done horrible things to you and has continued to treat you horribly, that doesn't make me think that you are a bad person. That just makes me think that you are somebody who has been through a lot and you finally are having a chance to step up for yourself.
Could you roll me persuasion?
Yes.
As you say this, you can tell for a split second that something you said finally made her realize something. And she leans in and tries to go for a kiss.
Navali will kiss.
I'm
Will kiss her
sorry.
back.
I don't think I ever said this back to you. I love you too, Navali. Can I ask a weird question, considering?
As soon as Perm said that, Navali's already blushing. But she just nods.
What's your last name?
My last name?
Your surname?
Oh, it's Fife. Navali Fife.
She's just going to kind of lean up towards you and try and snuggle with you for a moment. I don't like mine. I might want yours.
Oh my goodness. Navali goes from red to dark red. Yes. I mean, I think that would be nice, Perm. I think that would be very nice. I like to imagine Navali's it's like those anime clouds of blushing, you know?
Hard to even see what your actual eyes are looking at because you're blushing too hard.
Yes.
She's just going to try and stay with you for a bit longer until it's the middle of the afternoon and you both know you have to get up and start walking again. So 6, you overheard all of that.
Yep.
Anything you'd like to do with that?
Tell absolutely no one.
Perfect.
6 has the posture of someone who has definitely heard something she wasn't supposed to hear. And she waits for the two of them to leave so that she doesn't give her position away.
I hate to be a monster, but I have to do this for my own curiosity. Could you roll me stealth?
Uh-oh.
I believe that is actually above Navali's natural perception. You do sneak away successfully.
Yeah.
Any other conversation? You go ahead. You first.
I just want to say for the rest of the afternoon, Navali just kind of looks like she's a little bit on cloud 9.
Is there any other conversations people would like to have during those few days before you reach the desert?
Rev would like to borrow Celastra if that's okay.
Works for me.
For two reasons. One of them is partially a conversation, I suppose. But one of them
Hooray.
is I learned this neat trick and I could use your help.
Oh no!
Okay. What can I do for you?
Prepare to heal me when I explode again.
Oh, excellent.
What a great thing to do while traveling through hostile territory. Continue.
The hostile territory is when we get to the desert. This is my only opportunity to do this. So,
I will randomly have guards see this. It's fine. Continue.
Oh god, is that a
No, you're fine. Continue.
Arcana?
Yes. You know, he wrapped his magic around his sword somehow. You know, it's very similar to the other Scarlet spells that you saw. With the Reach one, there is something that goes into your arms, and it's kind of like trying to reach into that. But something still feels off. So anyway, let me do some math. Oh, this is lovely. What's your max HP again?
53.
Over the course of a minute, trying to put some kind of energy directly into your sword, your arms start to tear, your muscles start to bleed and start to rip, and it hurts dramatically. But you stay conscious.
Are we gonna have another long rest before we get to the desert?
Yes.
Okay. Just make sure.
You do not kill yourself trying to learn this spell that you still do not know.
Have what, 2 days on the road? I can try maybe one more time?
I'll let you try one more time if you want.
I have enough healing for you to try basically as many times as you want. I don't know what other limits there are.
The limit is once per day.
Okay.
Ooh, news, I get to up the number.
This is a dumb question, and it's too late because I've heard it all before, but like, oh.
Ouch.
I am down.
In theory, this is over the course of a full minute. Like, this is each round you're taking some
Gotcha.
damage.
Okay.
So,
Oof.
Celastra could be healing you in the middle of this.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just throwing spells out. Whee! Look at all these rolls. Wow.
Get them out now.
Lol.
That is the
These
most
are
amazing
terrible.
roll.
Dang.
That first one was a level 5, and the
It's
other two
almost
are level
Yahtzee.
4s. Yay!
If you get a Yahtzee, you get an extra 1 point of healing.
That's pretty good. Oh my god. Atrocious. Good thing these don't really count.
And a dragon comes.
So anyway,
oh no,
about
my
the
spells.
Tarrasque. But yes, Reverence, you can't seem to figure out exactly what he's doing, other than the fact that you feel like you're putting your own life essence directly into your sword, and it's physically killing you.
Out of curiosity, Leo, having watched Scarlet do it and watching Rev attempt it, would he be able to use his like proficiency in Arcana to coach for a future role? Like the
So
somatic components are actually more like this, or
I will let you roll to see if you can try and coach, though I will let you know you are unable to learn this spell. So it's still going to be more like you're giving him help and not that you are able to do anything beyond that.
Okay. I mean, there's nothing to be done now because you've already tried 2 days, but I'll just keep that in mind for the future.
That being said, Rev, are you hiding the fact you're literally killing yourself on the road?
I don't think so. I mean, other people have seen him try these other Scarlet spells before. And, I mean, we all know where we're going.
Fair enough.
And he was smart enough to grab Salastra.
And speaking of, just after maybe one of these excursions, first of all, thank you, Salastra, for all of your help.
Of course, no worry.
And I don't know. I've been thinking recently about our previous conversation. I wanted to amend something. I guess I sort of misspoke, and I didn't really think about it until later, and I didn't honestly really think about it until we were interfacing with a lot of Permilia's family. I guess it kind of got me thinking about some things.
Oh, how so?
Uh, just that I had mentioned that my parents were nobles. My birth mother was not noble. She was a Dolveranian citizen like everyone else.
Is that all?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just felt compelled to clarify that for some reason, I suppose.
Well, I appreciate your want for honesty. I don't think of you any differently, though.
Red's face is weird because it looks like that wasn't exactly his concern, but he's appreciative of the gesture anyway.
Like, Celastra might notice that and say, there's not really a lot of nobility where I come from. I'm not really sure how that makes people different.
An interesting insight. Well, I don't know. Money, property, servants, I suppose. Beyond that, I don't know.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing.
He nods. And of course, thank you for your help.
Anytime.
Can I also steal Salastra?
Sure.
I didn't want to interrupt. It sounded like it was done, but I want to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
I say continue.
Salastra.
What's up, Six?
Okay, this is like kind of out of nowhere, and I couldn't think of a good conversation to lead in to ask about this, so I'm just gonna say it.
Go for it.
If you resurrected me, why do you still have your necklace?
That is a bit of a long story. Did nobody tell you?
She has this look of like, tell me what.
It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
What?
I tried and failed.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
It
then
was
who
not
did it?
Out of character, what was his name? I forget.
Like Steven or something?
Steven.
Steven.
I wish I was kidding.
It was someone we found in Dolberan named Steven.
The PH or a V?
PH.
Huh?
I know it doesn't explain much, but he knew a more powerful spell than the one that I could use.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I didn't want you to think that it was me when it really wasn't. I guess I didn't know nobody had explained that, but Should have thought about it.
No, I just woke up in Dolvaran and everyone was like super sad and crying a whole bunch. And then I laid in bed for a day and then I got really bored, so I helped Crow with her groceries. And that's kind of all I remember about it.
Yeah, it was a stressful time, but I'm glad we made it through. Maybe one day we can have you meet Steven and you can thank him.
Does Steven also worship Tharnakul?
I don't think so.
You need me to remind you who he worshipped because he did tell you.
Yes. Sorry.
Paradigm.
Paradigm.
What?
Is that bad?
Oh, like the same Herodine with the sword?
Yes?
Why the fuck did Herodine resurrect me?
Leo's ears perk up from afar.
I guess I don't really have a great answer. I don't know.
What the fuck? Isn't Herodine supposed to, like, hate Tabaxi?
Really?
Yeah, he's the one making all the rules. That's why Promelia had that sword. What?
I guess maybe you're just a particularly exceptional tabaxi.
I am pretty great, actually. You got me there, Celeste. What the fuck? Does Promelia know?
I think so.
She was not there for the resurrection.
I am saying none of this quietly, by the way.
Yeah, I was about to say, party, if you didn't know, now you definitely know, including Familia.
What? But I thought Scarlet said that they weren't gods.
Celestia just kind of shrugs. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Steven was much more knowledgeable than I am. I wish I had better answers for you.
Okay, thanks. Wow. Okay, I didn't know any of that. Okay, that's... Huh.
Yeah, sorry. Now that I think about it, it seems weird that we didn't tell you.
Huh. Herodine. Oh my god, if you tell me to do something and I don't do it now, am I gonna get in trouble? Try it. Try it. Command me to do something.
6, punch me.
No.
I think you're good.
Nothing happens.
I want you to know that if you were charmed, I would punch you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. I'm... Great talk. I'm gonna go take a walk.
Okay. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I just, like, do my best thinking alone.
To be clear, you're having this conversation while traveling.
I take a walk 15 feet away from the group.
Well, I'm here if you need me.
Thanks, Celastra. It seems more like disbelief than, like, sadness or anger or anything, Celastra. Just like, wow, what the fuck?
Makes sense.
Leo frowns from the back of the line. Not that he didn't already know, but...
Any other conversations you would like to have?
I want to check on Perm, but I don't want to go twice in a row.
Well, too bad no one else wants to do anything.
Oops.
Do it,
Rev
do it.
would also want to check on Perm eventually.
Popular girl. Well, Rev, do you want to do it first, and then you can go back to 6?
6, you can go first. That's fine.
Sure. Actually, will you go first? There's someone at my door.
Sure.
Okay, I'll be back in like 30 seconds.
Just like as we're walking, or are we like camped?
That's up to you.
Maybe
I will
we're
let you know that this probably happened in the second day after she already talked to Navali. Unless you want depressed Perm.
No, I think this is probably better. Right. Okay. Perm. Permilia, sorry.
Yes.
I mean, maybe you're tired of people asking this, but how are you?
I don't know. Improving?
Okay. Fair. Hmm.
Why are you staring at me?
Yeah, I don't, wow, I'm really bad at this. I guess, I don't know. I have a complicated history with my own family. I guess if you ever wanted to talk, I wanted to extend that invitation. I know you've already got people to talk to, but and he gesticulates kind of as though he's not sure how to proceed.
I really do. Did you try to kill your family too?
Not exactly. Um, it's complicated, I suppose. It would the situation never made itself available, and I don't know that I'd jump right to that. Uh, they abandoned me when I was 5 years old. I'm not saying it's the same situation by a long shot, but
No, it's nice to know that families suck.
and they don't define you.
Yeah, no, I've realized that. I think that's what I needed to know. Sorry, I'm still sorry I put everyone in danger. I know that's your response. You are trying to keep us safe, right? That's what you're trying to do?
Yes.
I thought so. And I really appreciate it.
Sure. I mean, you. I, I appreciate what you're saying, but you know we'd help you out, right? I mean,
You
not just with this.
literally went to hell from, well, not literally hell, but to a place that was going to try and kill you because I needed to talk to my parents who were going to try and kill me. I believe you. Don't know why, but I believe you.
Well, if you need anything else or anything at all, just you know.
This is going to sound weird, but you're the guild leader. Is there paperwork with my name on it?
Rev would know that there is, yes.
Would he? I mean, Leo does most of the bureaucracy.
I'm going.
Leo
Well,
wasn't there when she got hired. I don't
True.
think.
and besides, I mean, we literally just inducted somebody else when the process had been very similar.
Oh, that's true. And you you are correct that Promelia was hired, but she was hired before the rule change. There was a bit less paperwork, technically. That being said, you did still have to write some paperwork, yes.
I believe so, yes.
This is gonna sound awkward, but when we get back to Dolvaran, could we talk about getting my name changed on that paperwork?
Yeah, no problem.
I don't really think Lavinia is my last name anymore.
Understandable. Though you raise an interesting point, it was both a rush decision and not a rush decision to have your sister be part of the guild. Where are you? Are you okay with that, first of all?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, I don't know her. I don't know her intentions, and depending on what they may be, this doesn't have to be permanent. You
Okay.
understand?
I will say, in her defense, she always just enjoyed talking to me about boys and cute things. And while I never understood the boys part, she was never mean, which is much better than some. I think she made some comments about why couldn't I just find a nice man a few times, but I'm willing to try and ignore that.
May I ask a different question? Maybe this is obvious and I don't understand. How did she come to be a priestess, was it?
Oh, she was born with magic.
Was that the only prerequisite?
Yes.
The priestess of which, if I may
Aridia.
ask, Ardia. What's Ardia about? I'm curious. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to pry.
Uh, Hunting, power, strength, purity.
What do those type of priestesses do?
So my sister was born with magic, and from my understanding, every priestess of Ardia is naturally born able to use special powers. So they're all different. She liked summoning small, cute creatures and also possessing big, cute creatures that weren't summoned. She got in trouble for that a few times.
I'm sorry, possessing?
Mind controlling, making them follow her.
Ah. Um. But she never talked about like her duties. I'm just curious because if this one of the five, this not deity, is about hunting, power, strength, purity, I didn't know if that related in some way to her duties.
They are bound to only breed with those that Ardia deems worthy. It's something about making sure that the strength of their magic lives on. You could say they need to keep that bloodline pure if it's ever found. And well, my parents weren't of that. When she was found, she had to go there.
So wait, your parents weren't of the same. So wait, what does that mean?
Oh, sometimes priestesses of Ardia come from all over. It's not uncommon for especially nobles to suddenly have a magic child that has to become a priestess of Aridia.
Maybe I don't understand. You know what? I'm sorry. I don't want to get lost in the weeds. So they want this whole bloodline thing to be the whole point, but anybody can just crop up and be magic. I'm sorry, I'm stuck on this.
Well, yes, but it's more likely if they breed with others who are already magic. In theory, it makes them stronger.
Rev's face looks like he thinks that's just sort of sounds like an excuse. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to pry.
It's fine. I know none of you know much about the five, and I'm your one connection to all of them. Yay!
That can't be easy. I guess I'm sorry for that too.
It's fine. Apparently, they're all fake.
I don't know if fake is the right word. They said, what did he say? They're not gods. That's how he phrased it, yes?
If you say you're a god and then it's you're not one, what does that mean?
I mean, I don't know what that
It means
means.
you're a fake.
Okay, but I think my point more lies in they're something, right?
I guess. I've never heard their words, but I know many of the other priestesses have. Maybe you're gonna see my sister. You can talk to her about how she's spoken to Aridia.
I guess I don't know. The whole thing, if they're not gods, but they offer power, is my understanding. That sounds similar to my situation, is what it puts me in the mind of, I guess. Except that she was born with it, you said.
Yes. It's. Are you saying that they're. What gave you your power? Are you?
Oh, I don't think it's the same thing, and he'll kind of wave his hand dismissively. I'm just saying that I think this can happen. I mean, if I can, I'm nobody. I can't really do anything without this.
I've seen you disintegrate giant baby monsters,
With this power that is not mine.
but you're using it.
I guess my point was that if I can get it, I don't know what is capable or what could offer someone else
Okay.
the same.
I know this is going to be very rich coming from me right now. Do you need to talk about it? Because it is your power.
Wait, this got turned around at some point. What do you mean talk about my power?
You know you're the one doing this, right? Like when you beat people up and when you do that whole thing where their blood ruptures and you slam them to the ground. It is you. You know that, right?
I mean, yes, no one else is casting these things or doing what I am doing. But I wasn't born with it.
So? Still you.
I get that it's me. I'm say my only point was that I got my powers from a strange benefactor. I don't know what the five are. Maybe there's the same thing. Maybe there's something completely different that can do the same thing. That was my only point. I apologize.
Oh, they're still fake gods.
Okay, yes, we can agree on that. They are fake gods. Yes.
I'm not saying they're not real. I'm sorry. I understand now. You thought I was saying they were not real. No, they're real, but they're fake.
We can agree on that. Yes, they are not gods for sure. Fake gods.
I'm sorry. This is very confusing for both of us. You cheered me up.
Did I?
I don't know.
Okay. You know what? I hope that this helped, but since we're speaking a little more freely now, I have one strange thing I want to ask you, and this does not have to be right now. This is just something to think about. Um, I've noticed that when you feel comfortable enough, you are you seem very good with conversing.
I am?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I guess. You got a lot of people that like you.
How?
You come off as, I don't know, approachable.
I do?
This is not going the way that I thought it was going to go. I think you do. I think perhaps other people might agree. You have a lot of people that like you.
Thank you? Are you saying you like me?
I was going to ask for help becoming more approachable. I don't think that this is working.
I I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't know what I do to make people approach me.
You know, that's a fair answer. Maybe it can't be taught. Um, great.
Kind of looks awkwardly off to the side.
Rev 2.
So I'm gonna go keep traveling.
Uh-huh. Rev's gonna just walk away.
So 6, do you want to intercept her after that awkward conversation?
Sure, just after Rev said how approachable she was, 6 approaches her.
Oh, hi, 6.
Hey, bad time?
Just confused. Hi. Hold on. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Are you okay?
I have no idea.
You said you're confused? I'm confused too, actually.
I'm doing better, I think. Probably? Can I help you?
I just wanted to check on you. We haven't really talked since everything happened.
Right. I'm sorry. I know we've been trying to do those Symphony of War nights, but sorry.
No. Permelia, I know why you're apologizing, but you don't have to apologize to me. This is a way bigger deal than a board game.
I am still sorry for bringing all of you there. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew it was dangerous, and I feel guilty.
Bro, we all knew it was dangerous when you pitched it to us. That's why we wanted to come with you.
I hope you know. I talked to Navali about that, and I still don't understand.
Don't understand what?
Why?
Why we came with you?
Yes?
Because you asked?
Is this what? Am I just approachable?
I think so.
What?
Do you, do you, do you want to talk about it?
No.
Okay. I'm glad I could help you out. I wasn't there for most of it, but it sounded pretty intense.
We're going to see your father. That's the plan, right?
Maybe. I was actually kind of hoping to avoid him. But I do want to see my brother.
She kind of grabs her arm and holds still for a second, just stops walking. 6.
Yeah?
If you ever get so angry that you want to kill your own family, I understand. It doesn't mean you're a bad person.
6 kind of has privileged information about what she's talking about. So she thinks about what she wants to say. You don't have to forgive people that hurt you.
I agree.
I don't want to kill my dad. But if it comes down to it, and that's what we've got to do, then I'm going to do it.
And I promised I would help you do what you need to do, and I will follow through. Also, I was thinking, Navali is very good at protecting me, but you're very good at making openings. I was thinking maybe you could teach me how to fight a little bit like you.
Like me? Yeah,
Like,
I could try.
try to push an opening and how to. When I was fighting, it was all about exploiting their mistakes, but you make them make mistakes. I need to know how to do that.
Yeah, you get up in their face, you put a ton of pressure on them, you force them to react, and then they crumble. Yeah, I'll teach you how to get up in there.
Maybe we do that for a bit instead of board games a couple of nights.
Yeah. Ooh, do you want to try to rope a third person in so you've got like an actual person to demonstrate with?
Oh, I hear that Rev just likes getting hurt.
Oh, we should do combat training with Rev.
I keep hearing him screaming at least once a day.
Rev is maybe the second person I've ever met who is more intense than me.
I believe it. He thinks I'm approachable.
You are approachable.
How?
You're mild.
What?
You're mild. You're surprising. Yeah, no one would expect you to be super strong, and then you are.
Sure.
I don't particularly want to get into a lot of fights with people in the Rasahari, but I do sort of selfishly look forward to the first time someone underestimates you.
Well, you're going to teach me how to pair him a new one? I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I'll teach you how to fuck him up.
I know what you mean to say. But I'm sorry, when I think of that word, something else comes to mind.
I think that you are way hornier than I am.
I would agree.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
Have you seen my girlfriend?
Yeah, she's hot.
See?
Have you seen her ass?
Yes.
Have you seen her tits?
Yes.
Bro, Navali is like a 10.
I'm glad.
You okay?
Yeah, no, I'm well aware you're not competing, but I still have to say that.
Oh yeah, I'm not into women. I can still acknowledge that she's hot. I mean, look at her arms. Holy shit, she could break me in half. Non-sexually.
Oh, don't worry. I'm from experience, she doesn't understand that. So they girl talk for a while.
Excellent.
And we will end session with as you get to the borders of Aridia and start getting your feet touch sand. The heat has always been getting hotter and hotter, but starts becoming unbearable. And Taruto especially can only hear and smell what seems to be sand and death. So that'll be fun for next session.
Yay!
Oh boy.
Woo!
Are we good for next session, next week?
Yeah.
I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to make sure, that would be the 25th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Okay. In that case, I will see everyone next week, and I hope everyone enjoyed it.
I'll cut the stream. Thanks
Yes.
for watching. Thanks for running.